Hello and welcome to Our Family's True Tales of the Supernatural. This is the premiere of Season 2. Now then, let's begin.
As we start the show today, I'd like to briefly say a few words about some things science tells us about the paranormal.
Science tells us that what we think of as solid objects aren't really solid. Everything is actually made from subatomic particles where electrons orbit a nucleus. All of these things exist in a state of vibration, frequency, and energy. There are also forces such as quarks and gluons that hold the atoms together. Science also tells us that matter and energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only change from one state to another. The frequency and energy of our thoughts that make us individuals, therefore, cannot dissipate either. So in a sense, we never really die. Our essence is simply transferred from one state to another. So some people would say that perhaps spirits aren't paranormal or supernatural, but are quite normal and natural. This could also mean that near-death experiences are quite normal. Then again, perhaps the ghosts that some people see are simply us humans. They're us humans as we transcend this world and move on to another state of frequency and energy. Yet they seem to exist slightly outside our perceptual range, or the range of frequency we can see. It also seems like perhaps sometimes some of these spirits get stuck because they don't feel like they can move on. Sometimes they might want to say farewell or give a word of warning of some impending danger. Perhaps some cases of violent or destructive hauntings might be linked to people who had a bad life. So maybe these spirits are angry or discontented. Maybe some of them also have special abilities to manifest as scary-looking things. Then again, maybe some of them are transdimensional creatures. I've heard scientists talk about those sorts of things. Perhaps some are projections from people who can emanate extra psychokinetic energy from their brains. There are people who have been proved to create this energy and they can't control it, but accidentally unleash it by means of excess stress or anxiety. So now I have a few questions for you. What if you moved into a house only to see ghostly apparitions, shadow figures, and plenty of spooky paranormal activity? What if you saw strangers in your house, and as you went to confront them, they stepped into another room and disappeared? What if the paranormal activity only got worse after that? What if the paranormal activity started to seem like a horror movie that was unfolding right before your eyes? What if I told you that this is basically what happened to me? As I mentioned near the end of Season 1, I thought the paranormal activity in my house ceased, but it didn't. I did a sage smudging and it stopped for a while, but it started again near the end of 2022. Since I had difficulty reading from my computer monitor, I got some low-costing reading glasses from the store. I had 2 pair with metal frames. One was black and one was silver. The black glasses helped me read from the computer monitor a bit better. The silver-framed glasses were a bit better at helping me read books. I liked wearing the black ones because I could still see fairly well as I walked around the house. My periphery vision was still a bit blurry because there were no lenses on the sides. So things were still a bit blurry if I looked a bit too far to one side or the other. I also noticed that if I looked to the side arm of the frames would make me see small visual distortions. The visual distortion only seemed to show up when I was walking around and looked to one side or the other. I rarely saw any visual distortions otherwise. There were other rare occasions when I was wearing my glasses and I saw other things. I would see what looked like shadow figures out of the corner of my eyes. The shadow figures were almost always in the shape of a human. They had a head, torso, arms, and legs. I saw the shadow figures the most when I walked into our dining room or sat down on a chair at the dining room table. If I turned my head to look directly at them, they would disappear in an instant. Late one night on December 21st, a very strange thing happened, and I couldn't tell if it was my glasses or something else. I had been typing some things on my computer, and I was about to get ready to go to bed for the night. I got up from my chair so I could go brush my teeth before I went to bed that night. I got up and walked to the bathroom. As I got into the bathroom and reached for my toothbrush, I saw a few bugs on my forearm and the countertop. I didn't think we had a problem with bugs in our house, so I was simply going to swipe it off and step on it. That's what most people in my area do anyway. I used my left hand to swipe across my right forearm where about 3 bugs were located. I swiped my hand along my arm, but after I did this and pulled my hand back, I saw the bugs were still there. I used my left hand to swipe it again, but the bugs remained on my arm. I swiped it a bit more firm this next time, but the bugs were still there in the same place on my arm. I was starting to feel a bit disgusted, so I thought I would take care of this once and for all. I was going to use my left hand to use a firm grip and pinch my fingers together to pull the bugs off my arms by force. I tried to pinch the bugs as tight as I could and tried to pull it off my arm, but as I lifted my hand up, it was still there. I think I only pulled a few hairs off my arm. As I saw that the bugs were still there, I started to get a bit frantic about the situation. I started to try to smack the bugs to kill them or force them off my arm, but that didn't seem to do anything either. So I started to get even more frantic. I started swatting at the bugs in a fast and frantic manner. I then started swatting at my arms so hard that I was making a loud slapping sound. I even tried to sling my arms around as fast as I could to get the bugs to fall off, but that didn't work either. I tried jerking my body back and forth and sling my arms around to force the bugs off of me. Seeing that this didn't work either, I got even more frantic. I was gritting my teeth, squeezing my eyes closed for 1 or 2 seconds, and tried to sling my arm as hard as I could. I probably looked like I was crazy jumping around and slinging my arms around like that. I noticed that my arm hurt a little, and I opened my eyes once again, but I didn't see the bugs anymore. I didn't see any bugs anywhere. There weren't any on my arm, the floor, the sink, or the countertop surface. I was a bit confused on where the bugs could have gone. I also wanted to stomp on them to get rid of them once and for all. I looked around for several seconds, but I couldn't find any bugs. I then washed my hands and my toothbrush, and then got some toothpaste to brush my teeth. I knew that something strange had happened, and I had looked straight at the bugs and knew they were there. So there shouldn't have been any visual problems because I was looking straight through the lenses of my glasses. I sometimes had problems with my peripheral vision, but I saw the bugs straight on and didn't use my peripheral vision. I kept thinking about what had happened with the bugs, and it reminded me of some things I had seen in some horror movies. I remember some movies showed rooms full of bugs or flies or something like that. I made a note of it just in case anything like this ever happened again. I had heard that if things like this happen more than once, it could mean there's an infestation of paranormal activity. This could also indicate that there was a problem with something dead that was lingering around, or something malevolent. I usually kept a small sage bundle with me, and I would use it now and then. if it was absolutely necessary. A few weeks later, on the night of Thursday, January 19th, 2023, there was a similar occurrence with the bugs. As with most nights, I went to brush my teeth before going to bed. Yet this time, a similar strange thing happened again. I got to the bathroom and turned on the light, and in an instant, I saw a lot of bugs crawling all over the place. It was like there were several bugs on each arm, and it looked like a few dozen on the countertop surface around the sink. They were crawling all over the countertop and all over both of my arms. I was quick to brush my hands over my arms to get the bugs off of me, yet my efforts to remove them didn't help. I then got really frantic and made several quick swipes to get the bugs off my arms. I switched back and forth using both hands in turn to swipe the opposite arm, yet no matter how hard I tried, it didn't seem to help. I then started flinching back and forth to sling my arms to get the bugs off and shake my head to do a double take. As I flinched to close my eyes for a second and open them once again from the double take, everything changed. I looked back at my arms and the countertop, only to see that all the bugs had disappeared with lightning speed. I noticed that there were no bugs on the countertop, the floor, or my arms. I couldn't understand how they could all disappear that fast. There's no normal way they could run off that quick. It was definitely unnatural and paranormal. There's no natural way they could run and hide that fast. I wondered if this was a problem with the cheap reading glasses I bought at the local store. I wondered if one of my sets of glasses maybe was haunted. But I looked, and this time it wasn't the black-framed glasses. So it appeared with two different pairs of glasses. I had a strong feeling that this was paranormal and wasn't a mere problem with visual distortions with my glasses. I had often walked into the bathroom with one set of glasses or the other, and I didn't have any problems most of the time. At least not on any other occasions than these two occasions where I saw this many bugs like that. This hasn't happened before or after these two incidents. I was also looking directly through my lenses and wasn't looking off to the side, so it wasn't due to any blurry peripheral vision out of the corner of my eyes. Yet I also got the feeling that this might be an ongoing haunting in my house, and it might not end anytime soon. Since I had experienced this second incident with the bugs, I wanted to do a sage smudging. The problem was that my sage bundle disappeared. I had been keeping my sage bundle in my small lunch cooler just in case I needed it at one of the houses I was renovating. It seemed like someone took everything out of my little lunch cooler and threw everything away. So I couldn't do a sage smudging. I was so busy at the time that I didn't have time to go to the specialty store to get another sage bundle, so I couldn't do a sage smudging in the house or on myself. I often use the sage smoke on myself to keep from getting any attachments or direct attacks or scratchings. I also wanted to protect myself so nothing would follow me home. Something strange happened a short time later that made me wish that I had gone to get more sage. The thing I witnessed left me stunned and concerned, yet the activity continued and got even more bizarre. During the evening of the 22nd of January 2023, I felt hungry and walked to the dining room to eat our evening meal. As I entered the room, I saw a strange sight. As I sat down at our dining room table, I faced the window at the front of the house and looked out the windows. I could see across the road into the neighbor's front yard. I thought I saw what looked like a very skinny version of the Grim Reaper in a black robe. I strained my eyes to focus to be sure I was seeing what I thought I was seeing. As my eyes focused fairly good, I saw a slim, dark-robed figure. I moved with great speed to slide my glasses down my nose to get a look that was completely unhindered. As I pulled my glasses down to look over the top of my lenses, the dark figure seemed to disappear. I couldn't see it anymore. I pulled my glasses back up over my eyes, and when the lenses were in front of my eyes, I could see the dark figure again. I was quick to jerk my glasses down once again, and as soon as I could see above the lenses, the figure disappeared again. I felt a bit flustered because it seemed like it was only a blurred part of the lenses on my glasses. So I thought that my eyes were only playing tricks on me as I looked through the smudge on the lenses. It seemed like it was only the smudge that distorted my vision. I wiped the smudge off the lenses so I could make sure I didn't have a shocking surprise. Then, as I put my glasses back on, I was stunned to see the dark figure once again. This time I left my glasses on and moved my head back and forth to look through several different parts of the lenses. I wanted to be sure what I was seeing, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't seeing a mere distortion in the defect in the lenses. I wanted to be sure whether I was seeing something that was actually there or not. I kept moving my head back and forth so I could see through different parts of the lenses. It was clear to see that the figure was still there, no matter what part of the lenses I looked through. Looking through different parts of the lenses didn't change anything. I continued to see the figure the whole time. It was a steady sight that didn't waver at all. I made a gradual move to move my head down a bit so I could see over top of the lenses. I wanted to see what would happen if I stopped looking through the lenses. As I tilted my head down so I could see over the top of my glasses, the figure seemed to disappear from my sight once again. As I raised my head to see through the lenses, I could see a slight distortion at the top edge of the lens. That was where the metal frames were around the outer edges of the lenses. Yet as I completely looked through the lens, the figure seemed to reappear in an instant. I took my glasses all the way off with a quick swipe of my hand and threw them onto the dining room table. I then rubbed my eyes and put the glasses back on again. I wanted to make sure my vision was as clear as possible so I could sit and take another good look. I put my glasses back on, and the figure was there again. I jumped up as fast as lightning and took my glasses off again. I stood up with a quick burst of speed and took a few quick steps to get around the table to get to the window on the front of the house. I crouched down a bit to look through the window. As I looked through the window without my glasses, I saw nothing in the neighbor's yard but a thin, small tree. That tree looked like it was only about as thick as a thumb or a finger and about as tall as a man, about 6 feet or about 2 meters. As I stood in front of the window, I picked up my glasses again and I tried looking with and without my glasses on. I saw nothing with or without my glasses this time. There was no change whether I looked through the glasses and the lenses or not. I didn't see the dark figure as I stood at the window. I went to sit down at the table once again, but as I sat down, I looked out the window, but this time I didn't see the dark figure there. I tried to look with and without my glasses, but I couldn't see it anymore. I hope it wouldn't continue to haunt me because I got an eerie feeling when I saw it. I had that same eerie feeling when I had seen something like it in my bedroom in the past. I had seen it in the corner of my bedroom next to the door to the hallway. I hoped I wouldn't see that figure anymore, but apparently things changed. I thought it was the Grim Reaper coming after me or someone in my household. I wondered if it meant that one of us would soon die or that one of us was near death. I didn't want to see that dark figure in that house anymore, but this time I saw it across the road. This incident made me want to keep a sage bundle at all times in case I needed it to keep away the Grim Reaper. I don't know for sure if it was a Grim Reaper, but it sure did scare me. I wanted to avoid it no matter what the cost. I was still having difficulty finding time to purchase another sage bundle, though, so I didn't have one to do a smudging. It appeared that the activity was increasing in our house once again, and I had no sage to stop the activity. I hoped that the activity would slow down and stop because I didn't have time to drive to another town to buy another sage bundle. Yet the story didn't end there, because the activity actually increased and stayed active for a while. I saw several different things throughout that year. I'll talk about the activity and the other things I saw in the next episode. Thanks for watching this episode.
Please click the like button. It helps the algorithm so other people can find the show and watch.
I hope these things can keep you warm at night. I'll see you again in the next episode of Our Family's True Tales of the Supernatural. Goodbye for now.